Hi everyone, you're watching our first episode of AirMoose. I'm your host, Joel Norman. I've got a few guests alongside me today. If you all want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm the co-host here. I'm Ben Murray, and also the starting shooting guard on the women's practice team here.
Jay Blackwell, go Warriors.
Matthew Regler, I like the Lakers.
And I'm Isaac Farabee, I'm a Wizards fan.
And this is our inaugural episode we said of AirMoose. We decided on the name a few minutes ago. We're going to give it a go, gentlemen. Let's get into our topics. So last night, the Spurs and Cavaliers played. Spurs beat the Cavs 99-95. Cavs were up 32-20 after the first quarter, but the Spurs rallied. Let's start with you, Isaac. What was really the difference you felt like in this game for the Spurs?
Honestly, when you shoot as well from the field as the Spurs do, they shoot 49% from the field. It's just hard to beat a team like that, and especially with how well they play defense. Kawhi Leonard alone, it's hard to keep up with the team that plays at that pace and makes you play their style of basketball. So I really find it difficult for a lot of teams to keep up with them, no matter how good they are. So that's why I'm looking forward to the matchup with the Spurs and the Warriors in the upcoming week. So we'll finally see teams who shoot as well as each other play against each other and actually see something go and be a competitive game.
Absolutely. You mentioned the matchup. The Warriors coming with the Spurs. They've got a few of those. They haven't met yet. They both have the best records. Well, they're at the top of the Western Conference right now. I believe the Warriors are in first still. They've only got, was it 3 losses now?
3
losses. Yeah.
37-3.
We'll switch over to Jay here. You mentioned, of course,
Yeah.
we already know you're a Warriors fan. Jay, if the Warriors and Spurs are matching up in a game, who wins and why?
January 18th, can't wait, by the way. That's when the Spurs
Of course,
and
you know
Warriors
the
play.
date.
Of course, absolutely. You got to look at the trouble the Spurs were having last night defending Kyrie Irving at certain points, and that could be troublesome when they face the Warriors and Steph Curry. But overall, these two teams match up very well. They both play good help team defense, and they move the ball around. Both their offenses are they're both based off ball movement for the most part. The thing with the Spurs is they can shoot the 3 ball just as well as the Warriors. So this honestly is a toss-up, and I hate to say it as a Warriors fan, but I mean the Spurs they're scary, they're streaky, and they're deep in positions the Warriors aren't. They're very deep at the forward spot. David West turned down $10 million to come and be a Spur. That's a big deal. It's going to be a really good game. I definitely can't wait.
For sure, coming up soon. That might be one of the best teams that has a chance to do some damage to the Warriors. The Warriors seemingly have only lost games whenever they've been missing star players. Draymond Green was out of action a couple nights ago. They lost to the Nuggets. Green returned last night against the Lakers. Lakers fell. We've got a couple Lakers and Warriors fans right here. So, guys, let's get your take on this one.
Good game last night.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I do think the Spurs defense is definitely the game changer when it comes to the Spurs, like strategy. And I think when the Spurs play the Warriors, I honestly think it's not really a toss-up for me. I think the Spurs are going to handle Steph Curry and Draymond Green in that small ball lineup, and I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win pretty handily, like 6 points maybe, which is pretty good for
That's a
the
good
37-3. Yeah.
You think the Spurs can easily beat
I think the Spurs are the best team in the NBA.
Tell me why.
Kawhi Leonard is, like Charles Barkley said, both ends of the floor, very versatile, and on defense they put up a stat of when he guards LeBron James, and LeBron James never doesn't play against Kawhi Leonard well. He throws up the least amount of field goal attempts, not as many points. He also, the usage rate of him being the center of plays is much lower than usual. So I think if Kawhi Leonard plays like that against Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, I don't think they'll be able to just stick to the 3-point game.
That's an interesting thing to bring up because lately the Warriors have kind of gotten going. Klay Thompson has really started shooting guys. For the beginning of the year, it seemed like Steph Curry was kind of carrying the points. Ben, I'll go to you. I haven't really asked you anything yet. Who's better in this situation, Warriors or Spurs, and why?
The main reason for me it comes down to it's Greg Popovich.
You really think the Spurs are better then?
I would always put my faith in Greg Popovich. If there was one team that would knock off the Warriors that I would say I would go put money on, it's because of Greg Popovich. The guy, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, no doubt in my mind. He comes up with game plans that work. They always work against LeBron. LeBron never plays well against the Spurs. He finds his players, he gets motivated, he develops them. I mean, look at Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard first came in the league, he was all right. He wasn't great, and look at him now. He's
improved
arguably one of the best all-around players in the league right now.
Luke Walton isn't a scrub coach.
I mean, it's no knock
Higher
on
than Steve Kerr.
It's no knock on Steve Kerr, no knock on Luke Walton. It's just Popovich has been there. He's been there for years. He knows his system. His players buy into his system. Like you said, what did you say, Dio? Dio came back for...
Oh, yeah.
Dio came back, turned down money because... I saw Dio. Turned down money because he wanted to be in that system.
Yeah.
And I like the system there over the Warriors.
I mean, for all this talk with Kawhi Leonard, the Warriors have Draymond Green. And Draymond Green isn't nearly as good as defender as Kawhi Leonard, I don't want to dare say, or the scorer as Kawhi
That's tough
Leonard.
to say.
He's pretty good.
I mean, he's good. He's good.
yeah.
He's really good. But Kawhi Leonard's he's the best two-way player in the NBA. He's not the best player, but you'll get to that later. But I mean, for Draymond Green, he can't defend LeBron the way Kawhi has. That's why I said he's probably not nearly.
Kawhi's more of like the guard.
Exactly.
He's not going to guard a 4 or 5.
Exactly.
Draymond's going to guard in the
He's
post.
guarded LeBron successfully, though. That's the one thing I
Exactly.
always think about.
It's
We say
hustle.
he can't get those 4 or 5s,
Yeah,
but
it's hustle. You got to challenge LeBron. Like Terrell was saying that earlier when we were before the show. LeBron plays bully basketball, and that's true. It's bully basketball. He's big, his frame. He knows he can get to the lane. He knows if he doesn't get the bucket, he can get a foul. Draymond Green is going to challenge him, and the Spurs and the Warriors have two completely different ways of defending the Cavs. With the Warriors, it's let LeBron go off. Let's stop everybody else. With the Spurs, it's let's stop LeBron. Let's go head on. So these are two completely different approaches. But I mean, these two teams, they match up really well. Like I said.
I think one thing that you have to also take note of, especially with the Warriors team, especially when they do play small ball, and Draymond Green is playing the 4 or the 5, he creates mismatches all over the floor, not only at his position, but other positions also. So you're forced to play their style of basketball because they play so fast. But when you're on the defensive side and you play against a team like the Spurs that may not play in your favor because of a guy like David West and Boris Diaw, those guys, they're big and they're not as fast, but they'll beat you down on one side or the other. So you have to really put your strength on one side or the other with the Warriors rather than with the Spurs. You can really have the pick of the litter on each side of the floor.
And the Christmas game showed us a lot too. That was an 89-83 ball game. Warriors versus Cavs.
really low scoring
Exactly.
for both teams.
The Warriors proved they can play this this Eastern Conference gritty type of style of basketball, and the Spurs have already proven that they can do that. So, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a collision course. It's going to be Spurs or Warriors against the Cavs.
Absolutely.
The Warriors can play gritty, but I think the Spurs are definitely the best defensive team in the league. And I think that the Warriors relied a little too much on the finesse game and shooting threes, and Steph Curry dribbling around with kind of no control. He knows what he's doing. He's got the best handles in the NBA. But I think that won't really work against the Spurs. So I think when the game comes, I think it will end up that will he will miss a few and end up shooting under 50%. So
I like what you said too there about the finesse game, because Steph Curry brought them back against the Nuggets the other night, and then that last possession he did dribble it off his kneecap and then turned it over.
Rare mistake.
Oh, rare mistake. Yeah, I'm not saying like you said he's the best, one of the best dribblers in the league, but
I'm not saying
again, he goes to the finesse there, and then you just make a little mistake like that, you lose a game that could cost you later on down the road.
Mistakes that the Spurs don't make.
Exactly.
One thing I know that you said, you said that it would be the Warriors and the Spurs versus the Cavs. Are you automatically ruling out Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think
Because if I
That's
think
a
in the
good
West, I think if in the West, if there's a team that can put either one of those two teams down, it's Oklahoma City.
No.
If they're healthy, I can see them competing.
That's
Also Westbrook.
I can see them
Not even
competing
that.
and making it a very good series.
I'm going to say this. Even if they are healthy, I still don't think you can pass either of those.
I think they're the team that would knock one of those teams off if it can be done.
I think they
If it can
force
be
They're
done.
the best
7
teams.
and then
Yes,
see what
I'm
happens.
by no
I'll give you
means am I'm not saying honestly, the Warriors and the Spurs are my favorite, but I would not write out.
I would
And I would not
say,
write
to me,
off.
it's the whole...
I wouldn't also write out the Clippers.
Clippers have been really dysfunctional. I don't like.
I know they won 9 in a row right now, but I'd still kind of.
Look at who they played.
Yeah.
Look at who they played.
But they have played well without Blake Griffin.
Which
Their
is really
scoring
hard.
went up without Blake Griffin.
Yeah, but the Clippers, it's that same syndrome with the Clippers every year.
Oh, they play well in the regular season. They go to the playoffs.
Exactly.
They fall in the
But they have
playoffs.
Paul Pierce now, and I think
But
Pierce
has been awful.
You're saying
He's also
you're saying that
cold.
he's averaged 4 points and 2 assists
This isn't
in
the-
the
this isn't the
entire
Paul Pierce.
season.
It's
to
because
win
they're a
that.
very well-rounded team, and in the playoffs they might need to turn to him.
I agree.
I would turn Paul Pierce in the playoffs.
On
Wait,
paper,
he's
I
Pierce?
agree.
He's got
He
good
just
experience.
small.
On paper, I do agree, but it's not really playing out in the way that the Clippers saw it play out when they got rid of Matt Barnes.
That's what I thought too.
At first, it really seemed like the Clippers were only missing a better starting three. And, Matt Barnes was a tough, gritty, defensive, small. He is a very good player.
I think
but
I think we all like to offer our well wishes.
Yeah, for his retirement
in his fight against Eric Fisher.
Yeah, but
as Matt Barnes,
Matt
Barnes said today, this won't end when I retire.
Yeah,
we'll meet again.
We also don't talk to snakes.
It's been great following that little fight.
Yeah.
But like you were saying,
it just hasn't played out like they thought it would. With Lance Stevenson coming to the Clippers, he hasn't been nowhere near the finisher or the scorer that
ever
they
since
thought he
blew
would be.
LeBron's ear yesterday.
Yeah, and I don't know what went wrong with that.
What came out of
and
LeBron's
Paul
ear
Pierce
when
isn't
he blew
helping. Paul Pierce isn't helping either. So it's not going anywhere.
Paul Pierce, I think, helped more of the Wizards because they were younger and
Right,
inexperienced,
right.
but the Clippers have more
These guys are
experience.
experienced.
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
there,
Oh, yeah.
and he's just kind of there.
Isaac really touched on it though. That 3 spot for the Clippers has been a problem.
Oh, it's atrocious.
Wow, I've never seen one team not be able to plug one piece. That's literally all they're missing on that team is a solid 3.
Yeah.
And turn it into a play.
They can't find it anywhere.
Exactly.
Anywhere. It's
Exactly.
nowhere. It's nowhere to be found. And that's like the big position in the NBA.
Yeah,
That
it is.
3 spot. That 3 spot. If you don't have a
yeah.
good 3 spot,
It's gotta be versatile for sure. Yeah.